If I had the choice of one survival knife to carry, it would be the Bryant. And today we're going to make it and test it. Well, this is not the Bryant, but it's going to look like this. Today I'm introducing a new series to the channel where I'll be making and testing knives according to their intended purpose.
Do you mean like this? No. Where'd you find this guy?
We'll be calling this series Field Tested. Let's get into it. Just going to weld a handle on it, heat it up, and get it in the forge. I'll start working on the point. Thought I'd go over a few things I found on the internet, trying to find a few things that I didn't know about the Bryant. Well, not that kind of information. The Bryant is a knife used throughout the Malaysian islands, Indonesia, India, Sri Lanka. As you can imagine, with a broad landscape like that, there are many versions and styles. Lengths vary from 10 to 36 inches. We're going for about 18 inches overall length. I was first introduced to the Bryant during my years of training in the Silat and Philippine martial arts, Pentjac Silat and Kali. The Bryant is often mistakenly assumed to be a sword, but there's no evidence that it's ever been used in a formal military conflict, nor that the intended purpose was to be used as a combat weapon. However, we know that it was used in attacks against the British and Japanese, and are typically carried as weapons by gangs and rebels, hence probably how it found its way into the martial art. Although some may argue that it could be called a machete or a chopper, as it is a direct variation of the modern machete. Its academic status remains as a knife, and that's my intended purpose of this build. So the blade's been heat treated and fully ground. I got it taped up and protected. I only finished it up to 220 grit. I'm not worried about a fine finish. It's a knife for me. I just want it fully functional. But now I got to figure out what handles I'm gonna put on there. And I've got these two choices. I kind of like these, but it really don't matter. Like I said, it's a knife for me. I think it'll go well. It's a bush knife, survival knife, whatever you want to call it. I think these will go good with it. Some camo. So what I'm gonna do next is put the handles on, get it finished out, and then we'll start our testing. Ooh, that was fast. Got our handle finished, and we're ready to do some testing. Here's some specs. So the blade's about 12 1/4 long with about a 5-inch handle. There's a distal taper. I did not taper the handle tang. I wanted a little more weight back here and a little more width. The spine is sharp for whatever uses I might want to do, ferro rods, you name it. The bevel is narrow here and gets wide up here. You've got like a fine work, chopping, and slicing area on a Bryant. Now, is it pretty? Absolutely not. I don't know what I was thinking with this, but I wanted something rustic, For my personal use, don't really care how it looks, so I did some of this retro etching on there. Anyway, first thing I'm going to do is a paper cut and a rope cut, check the sharpness, and then we're going to go out into the jungle. So we've got a piece of paper. That's good, and let's test it on this rope. All right, let's go do some real world testing, the thing that this parang was intended to be used for.
So this is an invasive species here. Let's see how well it does on this tree. Not too bad. So let's try it out on a piece of hardwood. This is a small oak tree, and amongst a lot of larger oak trees, it needs to be culled. So let's see how it does.
So there's a whole lot more testing we could do with this. I mean, there's a lot of other tasks you can do, such as skinning animals, skinning fish. It's not too big and it's not too small to do a lot of the tasks, which is why I like this size. Aside from that last little skit I did, in all seriousness, you can do a lot with a parang. As far as how this one performed, I think it does just fine. It's just what I want, just what I need. It's the size that I like. It has the right amount of weight up front, has enough thickness on top. You saw me baton a piece of wood, no problems with that. I could even turn it over and hammer with it. It's tough, it's still sharp, and it still shaves. Holds an edge well. I really like it. Now when I make one to sell, I like to use canvas, micarta scales on these. Has a real good grip. I will bead blast them, and they're real sticky. Same kind I use on fillet knives. But this works just fine for me. I hope you enjoyed making and testing a parang.